So if you go here where it says lessons and scroll down, there are 3 things you really want to download. And I'm going to go over each of the 3 of them, and then you all are going to do them. And I'm going to hang around here in case there's any questions about it. So the first one is the pitch template. And Andre was saying you could use these from here on out. And yes, so you can download all these, and then anytime you need to do a pitch or anything, you can just use this. So the first slide, your company name, and then your name is the CEO. The second slide should be, say, our team, and then has a picture of each person. And then you say really good things about them. And these are not long biographies, right? Vienna Greywater has 4 years experience in retail, all of it in tribal communities. She's a second-year student at California Indian Nations College. She's a citizen in Standing Rock Nation. I mean, if you're less experienced, you won't have a lot of stuff to say. If you're more experienced, you might. And remember, I said there's an optional slide. A really smart thing that Sync did is when the college started, there weren't very many faculty. And what they did is they went out and they got really well-known people to be board members. Because when I was looking at coming here, I mean, to be honest, I looked at the faculty and I never heard of any of these people. And then I looked at the board members like Gerald Clark. I know who he is. And, you know, there were people who were like the chair of their tribe. And so you could throw in as one of your optional slides. If you don't have a ton of experience yourself, see if you can get people to be on your board that sound impressive. So the board slide is not required, but I've seen that a lot when you have kind of younger founders or people who are going into a new area. Like say you may have a lot of experience in education, but you're creating a startup to sell cars or something.
And the board consists of like how many pieces?
Now, it's however many people you want. The Sync board, I think, is much larger than most because there's probably 12 or 15 people on it. Very often you'll have maybe 5 to 7. So there isn't a set number of how many people you're going to have. If I see too many people on your board, I'm going to assume those people aren't very involved, right? Because you're not going to have board meetings with 50 people.
Yeah. And the role of the board is kind of like your accountant, all your different parts that make up your company?
The role of the board, 2 things. One is to make you look like you have people around you that know what they're doing. So if you don't have a ton of background in, say, gaming, and you're founding a gaming company, then why would anybody invest in you? So you go and you get 5 or 6 people who worked on Doom and Call of Duty and Super Mario Brothers, and you get them to be on your board. And then people think, well, in theory, and actuality of things, if you have a good board, they should be providing you 2 things, advice and connections. Yeah. I have to say, the people on our board have just provided us money, except for one who has been super helpful as far as providing advice. Sometimes if people invest a lot in your company, like we're negotiating with some people right now, and they're talking about investing hundreds of thousands, and for that, they want to see it on board. Because they're saying, if we put in, over 200,000, we want a board seat.
They want to say, they want to be seen and heard.
So if you have a good board, not only will they be providing you advice, but they'll also be connecting you with other people who might invest as well.
It's like your inner network, huh?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then, so you need to have a team slide. You need to have a title slide. You need to have a slide that says what you do. This is your value proposition. It's not usually labeled value proposition. I think, something like Airbnb was, sleep anywhere or something like that. So your value proposition says what you do. And then you have a fact about your company and another fact about your company and maybe a third fact about your company. And I mean facts. Now, a fact could be, we aspire to be the coolest store in Palm Springs. That's a fact. Everybody is going to love us is not a fact. That's your opinion. So ours might be where the Sync community shops. The NSYNC store provides both convenience and variety of the Sync community in Palm Springs. That is a fact. Open during all hours of college operation, our shop sells both national and local brands of snacks and beverages, as well as school supplies. NSYNC, I'm just looking up that name, also stocks Native American arts and crafts for unique gift and decorating arts. one thing that's a bad pitch, I have sat and listened to people's pitches, and after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I still don't know what the heck their company does. Now, I was just doing these as examples, but also I like to put in pictures of things so you could see this is what will sell. And then you may have, if you have more, you may have a second slide about your value proposition, but you shouldn't have more than two. In other words, you should have something. These are fantastic people who are doing this thing better than everybody else. This is how much money it's going to make. Give us money. That's pretty much your pitch. In-sync kiosk. This, I went back to all the things we said, right? Because we had talked about this before, and Michelle had this idea of having a kiosk like an iPad. So that's a unique thing. So if there's something else unique that's worth putting in a second slide, do that. So we've got this kiosk that lets Native American artists sell more, provides more variety for shoppers, and in-store pickup, and gives them peace of mind. And your slide shouldn't be something you read to people, even though I just read that to you, but there should be more to it than that. Because you've probably been to these presentations where like somebody just stands up there and reads their slide. You're like, what the heck? Why don't you just email me this? So here I would talk about one of the advantages for the in-sync store is not everybody lives somewhere that they feel safe having Amazon drop off their packages so they won't get ripped off. And also, if you live someplace really remote, they don't always deliver to you. And also, you know, it can get, if it gets left out, it could get rained on, your dog chewed up. So people have a little more peace of mind that their gifts that they pay good money for or nice artwork is going to be delivered here, and we'll hold it for them to pick them up, and it'll be convenient when they're on campus. And the vendors, it'll be convenient, it'll be nice for them because they don't have to have a website. They could just send us some pictures of, you know, take pictures of their cell phone of what they got. And when it's sold, they can ship here. Yeah.
You guys have security here too.
Yeah, that's
Also,
right.
you have to keep these things safe. You know what I mean? Like, because some of these items, they can get up there.
Right.
Price,
Right. And you don't want somebody stealing your nice jewelry off your doorstep. Hello. And then you need a market slide. How big is the total available market for your product or service? How big is the service available market? And that's the market within the area you're going to serve. And how big is the service obtainable market? So don't start with the world. Don't even start with the United States unless you're planning on serving a good bit of the United States. So with the sync store, I thought about starting with the Palm Springs, Indio Cathedral City area. But then I thought realistically, how far do most people drive to go to a store? So I started with Palm Springs, and I said, the current metro area population of Palm Springs in 2022 is 46,000. However, the population triples in the winter. So like I said, if you go to the SBA site, which we talked about last time, they have, if you go to SBA.gov and look under market, or just search on marketing plan, it'll give you a list of a whole bunch of places you can find for free statistics and stuff. So the population is 46,000 year round, about 150,000 in the winter. I looked it up, and I'll tell you how I calculated this. I figured most people aren't going to go more than 2 miles from home to buy anything. You know, they'll pass another store on the way and just stop. And then people are already here. It's the most convenient place. So I figured everybody on campus plus 2% of Palm Springs is just the very closest area because, yeah, people are lazy. So our market's 2,100 people. And how many of that? I figured maybe half the people on campus would pick up something every day, like a soda or a snack or something like that. And 10% of the people that lived in the neighborhood. So that's how I got that. Then you got your market, then your competitor matrix. So you've got a company and you have, you know, quality 1, quality 2, quality 3, and then other companies. Now remember, you're trying to sell somebody something, right? So you're going to pick qualities that you are at least are either great on all of them, or you're great on all but one of them, the other way you're okay. For example, I would not pick number of stores, because if we're comparing ourselves to Walmart or 7-Eleven, we're pretty far down there, right? So pick qualities that make you look good. And this is, and you might think this is a little deceptive. My grandmother, who was the most Catholic person after Pope, said to me all the time when I was a kid, everything you say has to be true, but you do not have to say everything in the word. Right? Some thoughts are inside thoughts. So if I come, you think that all the time, right? Yes, whenever I'm coaching, especially if it's something that they invite me to come and coach younger kids, and I'm constantly saying to myself, don't swear in front of the children. Don't swear in front of the children, because I don't need them to go home and say, Mommy, I learned these new words. So anyway, our company has convenience for people in the neighborhood. That's why I focused on this neighborhood, right? We're gonna have community. We're gonna buy from local people. We're gonna have local flyers put up of anything that's going on there. And we're gonna have unique goods. So I picked those three things that are our strong points. 7-Eleven, they have convenience. There's one not far away. They're all around. But no one says, I want to go to 7-Eleven and hang out. Especially at the one by my house where they had a shooting this week. I heard my dog barking and I thought, I swear to God, those are gunshots. Which doesn't happen in, I think that was somebody else trying to come in here. That doesn't happen in Santa Monica all that often, but sometimes it does. So anyway, yeah, 7-Eleven, no one says, I want to go to 7-Eleven for the sense of community. Try to say, I'm seeing if I left anybody out here, but if I did, too bad, they should have come in sooner. And then the other thing is 7-Eleven doesn't have to be really neat, right? That's things you have to get everywhere. Mall gift stores, they're not very convenient, they're a real sense of community, but you could get unique stuff there. And local markets, maybe they'll let you charge there. They might have more, I'm thinking like the bodega, but they generally don't have very unique stuff. They sell cell phone chargers and, candy bars. So pick that things in your competitor matrix, say, this is why people would come to us as opposed to competitors. So you can take this, download this template. So it's on the website under pitch template. And then we'll go over this. I'm going to download this in a minute so you can look at it. We've got financial projections. You could do this one of two ways. I've seen it both ways, and either one is fine. You could just show your revenue, just your sales every year, or you could show sales and profit. So you need a financial projection slide, you need a competitor matrix slide, you need a market slide, you need at least one value proposition slide, you need a team slide, you need a title slide. And the last thing you need is your ask. This, I don't like so much how PowerPoint does these pie charts. So we'll look at doing it in different ways in a minute. We'll also look at doing, if you don't know how to do it, how we did the charts, how to do the charts in PowerPoint and then Excel it. So this is my ask, there's my bar chart here. And again, these things are made for you to talk from, not just email somebody. There's a different kind of deck that's an email deck that's listed on its own. So I'm asking for $50,000, 34% of that is going to go to our startup costs, 24% of that is going to go to salary, 16% to inventory, and 26% to marketing. So that's what I'm trying to ask you, that's what I'm going to take out. Don't you want to give me that? So that's, you can go to lessons here. And download this. Download the original PowerPoint document. You have two options, right? And if you download the PowerPoint, it will be a lot easier to edit. So I want to show you one thing on that. And then I'm going to go to the financial template and the marketing template, and I'm going to stop. And you're all going to do all those things because you will have opportunities to do them. Okay. The one thing I wanted to show you this. So if you click on this chart, right, you can edit the data, right click on it. You could edit the data. And so if you're using this and you have different projections, you could just go in and change those numbers. And when you save it, your chart will be saved. So that's still 60,000. I changed that one to 50,000. Anyway, you could change anything in here and it'll change in your chart.
So you clicked on it on the template and then it opened up the other window?
Yep. So I right clicked on it and it comes up with edit data in Excel. So I can change the data. I could change the chart type to be a line chart or a pie chart or whatever. It really would make a sense for this to be a pie chart. It would just be two different ones, but I could change it to a line chart, but a bar chart kind of makes the most sense for this. You could also change any of the options here, like you didn't like that color. Change to be something else.
Yeah, you can do them all, you can do them all individually, different colors if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that might make sense is if you want to change these because they're negative to red. Anyway, you could change the colors on here. This one, same thing. This is the pie chart. I don't love the way it does pie charts, but one thing I wanted it to do was I wanted it to put the data labels on the outside so you could see them better. So that's what I did. You can put them in the center. I don't think they're very readable there. You could put an inside at the end of it. So there is your first template that you can use for anything. All right. This is cool, if I do say so myself, which I do say so myself. So here are all of here's your total expenses for the year. Now, all you need to do if you want to say a 3-year projection, download this, download as an Excel sheet. And over here under year 1, I have my category. So these are just the months. So I did January to December, but if your fiscal year is going to start in October, whatever, you could just change the month name. So here's 12 months. And for each month, I put in what my personnel cost was going to be. Taxes and fringe, I just did 25% times this. So equals, okay, it says this equals 0.25 times B2. And then I just copied it all the way across. And the same thing for rent, utilities, inventory. So if you want to copy this in the future or today, if you have other costs, like you think that you're going to have a vehicle and you just put those other costs there and put them out. And it'll change your total expenses for the month. If you think your rent's going to be less than 800, just change that. So these are all of your expenses. And then over here is whatever it is that you're going to charge for. So this is the number of whatever the first thing is, you know, like Leanne said, you're going to charge notary services, and then you're going to charge for loan documents. So however many you think you're going to sell of the first thing, however much the price is that. However many you're going to sell the second thing, however much the price is that. And so I'm going to do the 3 things. And then here's your total revenue. So if you use this sheet, if you go in and say, what if I change my price? So right now, what I did, so this is by the month, and then over here, I did equals the sum, and then parentheses, of B2 to M2. So basically equals the sum of all those months. Annual sales equals the total of your monthly sales. And then I went over here and said, this personnel for year 1 equals this total. The taxes for year 1, oh, sorry. The personnel for year 1 is going to equal this total right here. The taxes are going to equal this total, and so on. So I just went equals, and then I went back and I clicked on this thing. So if I wanted to see what about if I change my prices? I'm not making money. I think people would buy just as much if I charged $3 for this thing. So I can change this to 3. Just click here, drag it all the way along. And it'll automatically change the total number. This doesn't matter. This is just the price.
And if we're changing prices, or like, so say year 1 is 3, then year 2, we go up to 6, or we
Right.
go up to
Yeah.
5. Do we have to explain in our presentation, or do we have to say, this year we decided why, or,
Yes.
okay.
Right. Yeah, because you guys should double your prices and say, ah, it seemed like a good idea to me. But you could say, well, we decided to put them up 10% with inflation, or we think that we could sell more, like with us. And I think a lot of tech companies do this. The first year, we will sell things much cheaper because it's an early adopter discount, which is kind of the lean startup chapter. When you talk about minimum viable product, I might sell stuff way cheaper at the beginning. And then the next year, my price is going to go way up because I worked all the bugs out of it. So this lets you go, you can go into this financial projections. You can change whatever the thing is that you're have cost of and put in the cost per month. Whatever the things are that you're selling, put in the number you think you'll sell each month and the cost of them. And it will automatically go in and change things in your financial projections.
So we would be writing it next to it, kind of like that. We would
Right.
put- Okay.
Yeah, so you can just copy this exact thing, because you're probably gonna have personnel. Now, maybe you're not, maybe if you are gonna do all the work yourself and you're not gonna pay yourself anything, you're not, and so in that case, you could put zeros in those. I think I would argue against that, and it's funny, when we first had investors, the very first time, one of our investors had a fair amount of money, and so her accountant actually talked to us. And he said, I want to see you pay yourself something. In fact, I'd like to see you pay yourself close to market rate, but I want to see you pay yourself something. And he said, I have two reasons for that. One is, unless you're very wealthy, you're probably not going to be able to go indefinitely without being paid. And he said, secondly, if your company making a profit is dependent on the manager, the developers, or whoever being willing to not get paid, that's not a sustainable market, because you can't sell that to somebody else and say, oh, this model assumes that you're never going to get paid. Yes, you'll second right there.
Inventory line, I'd say like I was gonna put the jewelry from different people. What do we do when it's like damaged? Like, do we gotta put a line in, have to return, whatever, and show that transaction?
Yes,
Or-
so that could be another one, because that's what that other cost 1, 2, and 3.
Or
So you have
if
the cost.
the sodas come broke or.
Right.
It's called street.
Shrinkage, yeah. So that is your financial projection. So you could just download that and have at it. And then there's one more. I'm going to go through the last one, and then y'all are on your own to start doing this. There's also the marketing plan template. And I thought this was kind of cool. So again, you want to download the original PowerPoint. I thought it was kind of cool because I actually got it from a site that had 38 PowerPoint templates, and I put that up there for those of you who feel guilt if you did not just yet do assignment 2. So this marketing plan I thought was kind of cool, and what I put in here, like I said, I downloaded this from a site that had 38 different marketing plan templates. There is completely nothing wrong if you're creating a pitch, a business plan, a marketing plan, a financial plan, of going to the internet and downloading a sample of it or a template and modifying that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think you all are unappreciative young people, because when I was in school, Excel did not exist. And so we had to do these things on sheets of lined paper. And if you change something, you had to go in and erase all the things and put in all the new numbers. So appreciate it. So here's the marketing plan template. You need the name of your company. The executive summary, you need to have one of those. It should come last, right? Because after you've done your whole plan, then you go back and you do a one-slide summary that says, here's the people doing it. The marketing team, I took out the marketing team slide in here that showed all the people who are going to do all the different parts. Because if you're a small company, that person is you, right? There's not 15 other people who are going to do all those parts. So you do want this summary, but that comes last. Mission statement, you do want to have that. You should have that already. So ours, InSync, provides convenience and variety for the sync shopping community and a market for local vendors at a fair price for buyers and sellers. Marketing goals, you don't need 3, but you should have at least a couple. What is your goal for your marketing? We might have 2, to increase the number of buyers from within the college community itself, and to increase the number of sales. So it could be, your goal can be increasing the number of customers. It could be increasing the sales per customer, right? Like the dollar value per customer. Like if you're selling shoes out where you want people to, while they're buying shoes, you want to buy a pair of socks and a pair of pants to go with that. You know how often when you go to a store and like, oh yeah, you know what, that's really nice, but that shirt, you know, this shirt that goes with it. So your goal could be increasing the dollar sales per customer. It could be increasing the number of customers, but you should have a couple of goals. There don't have to be 3, but you should have at least 2. The key performance indicators, that's this whole marketing plan they had, I think is more detailed than you would need for this class. If you were taking a marketing class, you might go a lot more in depth. But the KPIs, if you're actually, and then accelerators are very big on KPIs. What is it that's showing if you're making that goal? Oh, well, I would be measuring the sales every week to see if they went up. Or I'd be measuring the average sale per customer every week. That one is not required. You can put it in there if you want. Target audience, who are you selling to? The more you think about the person you're selling to, the better off you're going to be. So the buying authority, like in our case, when we're selling educational games, the buying authority is usually either the principal or the superintendent. It's not very often the individual teacher, because they'll often buy something for the school or for the district. Buying triggers, what makes somebody want to buy? Like you may have, I mean, you're Albert, you're selling stuff. Are you thinking mostly people are going to come and buy for themselves, or are their parents going to pay for it?
I'm thinking that the parents are gonna pay for it, but I'm gonna make sure that the parents walk out with something nice too. 'Cause,
Ooh, that's smart.
It'll be like, look, son got the black one, but what if dad has the white pair? He's looking better than son. This is that, you know?
Maybe we need to market to where the families have the.
Sears used
Tell
to,
them that you're gonna put their photo up on the wall.
Sears used to do that when I was a kid. They would sell like Easter dresses, like in all different sizes, and my mom would always get them. So it was me and her and my sister had the same dress, and my sister used to say, I could pick. See, I did not wear a suit today because I was telling Albert yesterday when I saw him, I had to wear a suit all week last week, and I have maxed out my quota for the month of this week. Also maxed out my quota of getting up before 8 a.m. for the year. Anyway, so what are some of the challenges that face your target audience? What are their pain points? Like one of the things when we were selling to parents, one of the pain points was fighting with your kid about their homework. And when we marketed to parents, it was very different than we marketed to schools. And the thing that the advertising we sent to parents said, never fight about homework again. And we had a picture of one of my grandkids. None of you have ever done this because you're perfect. She's like laying across the table. You know, that thing where she lays and says, no, I'm never gonna do this. So what are the pain points for them? For administrators, it's that the school board comes down on them about your test scores. So anyway, this is the more you know about your customers, the easier it's going to be to market. I'll tell you one thing we learned about our customers. I might have mentioned this. Schools are super conservative. And if you were selling to schools in Southern California, like LA area, not so much Palm Springs, I don't know about Palm Springs, but like a lot of schools did not want to use our names because they had hunting and fishing and they were killing animals. We're like North Dakota, Oregon, you know, outside of Portland, like out in the wilderness, like, this is so cool. I went fishing last week. So how would I shoot those deer? So attitudes, pardon? This is an interesting one. Audience persona. She should have at least a couple of these. Who is the person that you're selling to? I had somebody who wanted me to write a textbook. I didn't write it because I didn't love it. But they were looking for somebody to write a statistics textbook. And he said that they would tell authors, think about this person you're writing. It's not writing for. And he said, some authors had so much trouble, I would have printed, you know, those things they have like for famous people that are like life size. He would print some life size cardboard cutout of a student, shipped to them and say, look at this when you're writing. So what is the person that you're thinking of marketing to? The more you kind of imagine this person, the better you'll do. You're like, Todd, what is your, back there? What was it? I said, who is your person you're selling to? Tell us about them.
Yes, dear.
No.
You. Oh. Oh. Pregnant.
See, that's more than one. So you start with
Oh.
one, because the person who's expecting and the person who's lost a child, they're probably pretty different.
Yeah.
As far as what you would market to them. Like the person's expecting, you're like, hey, get this for your baby's room. The person who's lost their baby is gonna burst into tears because you don't do that. So you wanna make sure you send it to the right. So I'm expecting a baby. What would get me to buy that thing for them? But why would I buy that? Am I buying for the baby? Am I buying for me?
Maybe a sense of nostalgia or reminiscing.
Right, because they do sell the ones with the mother's heartbeat that you put in the crib of the baby. Yeah, so I could remember, oh, when I was pregnant, this tiny little baby, and then who's gonna buy this? Are they gonna be lower income? Are they gonna be middle income? Are they gonna be higher income? And they're probably gonna be super poor, right? Because when I was a kid, my mom didn't have enough to buy food, so I'm sure she loved my brothers and sisters and me, but she was not gonna go buy anything that wasn't necessary. So they're not gonna be super poor.
It could be a gift or instead of the person, the parent buying it themselves.
But that would be a different person, right? So, and again, if you're marketing to me to buy stuff for my grandkids versus marketing my kids to buy stuff, that's very different.
Mhm.
You know, like my grandkids, I just booked a Disney cruise with one of my grandkids for Christmas. But her parents aren't gonna do that because they have 3 kids. And they have, you know, those suckers are expensive to put through college and clothes and all that stuff, right? So yeah, think about for each individual group or person, you're going to market to them differently. If I'm sending stuff out to grandparents, I'm gonna, oh, you'll treasure the memories. They're only living for so long. You know, even, and this would be really good out in Palm Springs, you know, even if you can't be there all the time because you're spending your children's inheritance on your second home in Palm Springs with the pool, don't say that. You know, even if you can't be there in the winter, you could still have them with you or whatever. So you should have a couple of people that this is who I'm selling to. And the more you know about that person, the more you are. So have at least one, right? If you don't have more than one, if you don't have more than one, that's okay. Situation analysis is just a really short summary of what your marketing situation is. So for us, Sync is located in a predominantly residential community with just one small shopping center close by, and people on campus all day. They would like to be able to pop over and get something without having to walk, which I did today, walk over to the shopping center and back. So and also people in the neighborhood might like to stop in and get something close by. And there's no place really to buy locally sourced goods and arts and crafts. So Sync meets all of those needs. We're going to be marketing most to both the local community and the college. So it's kind of a short summary of this is what the situation is. You don't need to do this. This is just to show you if you were going into your competitor. In fact, I deleted a number of these. They had a bunch of these on here. If you wanted to, you could look at who are my competitors and what are their pricing strategies, how are they positioning their product? Because you don't want to just be store number 6 doing the same thing, right? Like, what is the difference between Saks Fifth Avenue and Forever 21? Price, but people buy stuff there, right? I mean, you go to Rodeo Drive and there are all these stores. So their pricing strategy, pricing things very high. They're positioning their product as a luxury good. And then you have other stores that they're positioning their product as like Banana Republic or some of them. They're positioning theirs for for people who are more professional. I don't think a lot of people who are younger shop at, you guys are younger, do people your age shop at Banana Republic? What are you? I didn't think so. The only time my daughters have shopped there is when they had to wear had to conform to a school dress code. And then you had to have like collared shirts and khakis and stuff, but they have never shopped there willingly. So some are targeted to older consumers, some are targeted to younger consumers. There's stuff that my kids wear that I just think, there's no way for that. So you can include that, but it's not required. And this is just the same thing for a second competitor. Again, you could include in a business marketing plan, but not required for this. You really want to like a marketing class, what your strengths are, your unique values, how you can prove those things you say are true. Like in our case, for some educational games, and we could say that we did controlled studies where the students who played the games included the mass for student control. And these were published in academic journals, so there. And again, the SWOT analysis, another thing that's not required, I just left it in there, show this is what some people put in their marketing plan. Yeah, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? These are required. Your product. I still remember, because I got in a big argument with my marketing professor back in the day. Because I said, I think your product is the most important thing, because if it's not, if you don't have a good product, the rest of it is you're just a big liar, right? You're just trying to get people to buy something that is not that good. His point was, if you don't have the rest of the stuff, it doesn't matter if you have a good product because nobody heard about it. So product, you should just define what it is that you're selling. Price, what is your pricing strategy? Are you pricing stuff at the average because you're not competing on price, you're competing on convenience, you're competing on something else? Is your pricing strategy be the lowest possible price? That's generally not a good strategy, because people who say can buy at a bigger value than you might be able to undercut you, or some big company might be able to settle a loss for a long time to run you out of business, then to go to the market. But anyway, what is your pricing strategy? Is it being a luxury good? Is it market rate? What is it? Place, just simply where are you going to sell this? Where are you going to have be on the internet? Are you going to be located in one physical location? And where is that? Promotion is, how are you going to promote this? Are you going to use social media? Are you going to use word of mouth? How do you get that word of mouth? Are you going to use flyers? Paid advertising? What are you going to do? And positioning is where, how are you positioning your product in the marketplace? This is a luxury good, this is a good that's convenient, this is a good that you really want because it's unique. You know, this has your baby's heartbeat in it. Where else could you get that? So the three dimensions you'll learn that people are positioning on are value. Either this is really low price, or this may not be low price, but it lasts forever. Right? Because we've all bought stuff that was cheap and then fell apart like 2 weeks later. And then you've probably bought stuff that you can pass down to your kids. So it's the value, it's low cost, is the value lasts forever, is the value that this is something that nobody else has, is it that it's made out of gold and diamonds and it's worth a lot. And then the people in your marketing plan, who is putting this all together, is one of the reasons that I would come in. I'm hoping that Michelle is going to be our manager here, and people want to come to the Sync store because everyone is super nice. I mean, honestly, I used to teach at another university and the pay was dirt, to be honest. But everybody from the administration, the deans, the chairs were so nice that I actually stayed there probably longer than I should because they were just so freaking nice. And I don't know if you've all ever shopped at places like that or worked places like that where you go in there because everybody's just so nice. Or I go to San Mon, I go to Santa Monica Orthopedic Group, right? They replace my knee. They're not nice. They're kind of a pain in the ass. But you know what? They put my knee back together and it was amazing. So it could be that your people are super nice. It could be your people are super qualified. We have somebody in here that knows everything about Native American Jewish. She knows every tribe in the United States off the top of her head. If you tell you that that pattern is, if you had somebody like that, I would go there. Just to talk to them. So what is it about your people? Are they super good? Are they super nice? Your pricing strategy? Are you the low cost leader? Whose thing is that? A Walmart? Somebody says they're the low cost leader. Marketing initiatives, you don't need to have this. That would be stuff like we're gonna focus on getting more people to come in and buy our jewelry. We're going to have something focused around powwows and go and promote everybody there. So you have specific initiatives that you're doing. That's not required in here. It's just letting you know that some marketing plans are that. Marketing channels. Again, not required, but good to know that if you were doing a much more elaborate marketing plan, you would say all the places you're going to sell it. Are you going to sell it powwows? Are you going to sell it? Are you just going to sell in your store? Are you going to sell on the internet? And then the final thing, I think this is the final thing, yeah, is the budget. You do have to get that. How much are you going to spend? Are you going to, and I know, I think it was you, Jacob, who Ryan Sue was talking about outsourcing, right? So are you just going to go to some marketing agency and say, I will pay you 10,000 a year to do all my marketing? Are you going to get your partnerships with people? My youngest daughter is always telling me that we should do collabs with our company. Now, do y'all know what a collab is? I expect to see her and out of it. You're on YouTube, right? So get another YouTuber to come on. Like Rhonda is doing something and she'll get Daniel Cormier, who's the UFC guy, to come in, or some other person that has a lot of, what's the guy that does Jackass? Do you ever see that thing?
Johnny Knoxville.
No, Steve. Yes. So she had him come on her YouTube channel and then she'll go on his, right? So if you, I think somebody was talking about doing the party planning, so they could work with Todd by, expecting parents, they're probably gonna have showers. So you put up stuff at about my party planning at your ultrasound clinic, and I'll put up stuff at your ultrasound clinic about my party planning. So that's the last thing you should have. Are you do events? Are you gonna go and like we're just having a gathering under the stars? We put on events. Are you gonna pay people to promote? So that is it. You have now all of the templates. So this is the point of no excuses where you should all like get a Diet Coke or whatever, and you should sit here and download those templates and work on those things, because I know that none of you have all of them done. All right, got that?